Hey guys, Future Lisa here. I am sorry. I realized I was reading from my notes the whole time through this video about vintage collectibles. So I just wanted to pop on and say I was sick. I've been sick and feeling better though. And I'll see you on Friday for cooking vintage. Also, this is in no way any financial advice. It's just sharing some vintage collectible trends that I've seen over the years. Hey guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Designs. How are you? I hope you're having an amazing Tuesday. You did not get a cooking vintage on Friday. I have been sick all weekend and I'm just now starting to feel better. So we will be doing the club sandwich on this Friday, March 8th. Sorry about that, but I don't get in the kitchen when I'm sick. So, but you will have a video up this Friday. And again, we are doing the same thing, the club sandwich, and I'm super excited about that. I think it's going to be very, very good. So guys, today's video is all about collecting vintage items that people use, that people get because they think they're going to increase in value. Now, whether something increases in value or not depends on so many crazy factors, and I am not a financial guru, so if these are just the ones that somebody asked me, you know, what are some great vintage collectibles that basically they're not wasting their money on? And when you say it like that, it's vintage collectibles that tend to, you know, hold their value. But I'm talking expensive things like classic cars or some stamps, you know, some comic books, those kind of things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And again, I want to reiterate, and you'll see little screens pop up throughout this video, that this is not meant as any type of financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And it's strictly for entertainment purposes and just to learn a little more about the higher end collectibles that are vintage. And we're going to start with coins. The first one is coins. Rare coins. Rare coins can be coins from other countries that were a limited print, maybe coins that are misprinted. Those are like really big because there was very few of them made. And the thing about coin collecting is people really get involved in it. It's very immersive. People, you know, you have to research it, you have to track them down, you have to examine them, and then there's the actual act of collecting them, storing them, and whatnot. So coins can be a very immersive, take up all your time. Another item that is vintage and you can collect and would be classic cars. Now, classic cars are fun and can really pay off well. However, that's an expensive hobby. That's an expensive collectible because to get something of value, you're going to pay more, okay? And then even if you don't drive it, you still have to maintain them to keep them in that highly desirable collectible state. So collectible cars, classic cars, can be very profitable for the person that invests in them, but there is a huge income that's soaked into them, not to mention a big upfront cost as well. The third thing is jewelry. Everybody knows gold and diamond over the long history has been very much in demand and very much a collectible. But besides gold and diamond, sometimes there can be other materials that are scarce that make certain jewelry equally as gold and diamonds. Baseball cards. We all know some of the Babe Ruth, some of the rookie cards that can go for a lot of money. But the thing is, you have to hold on to them for a long time. The person has to go be at the top of their game, and as two athletes themselves said, then they have to expire at the top of their game. So you don't wish that on anybody. And they have to be kept in mint condition. Mint condition. Which means they need to be kept in a safe, cool, no direct sunlight, no water, dampness, that kind of thing. And lastly is art. And we all know paintings. I mean, we've all heard of Leonardo, Picasso, okay? But also artifacts, sculptures, and furniture. If it's rare, maybe the artist only made a limited number, only sculpted a limited number, used rare materials, those sorts of things. So art, but when you think of art, you always think of paintings. But it's not just paintings. It can be artifacts, sculptures, and furniture. Now those are the top 5 vintage items that a lot of people get to be an investment. A few others are vinyl records. But the vinyl records, they can fetch a good price. They're not easy to find. They may require effort, but it's not every vinyl record out there, and they have to be in great condition. Comics. We all know comics. Vintage comic books are one of the most popular collectibles because of how much they can appreciate. Comics is a medium used to express ideas with images often. So comic books, because comic books are very well known, very popular, appreciable vintage collectibles. Now again, they have to be stored appropriately. You can't just thumb through them. They have to be kept out of bugs, heat, weather. You don't want the oils and dirt from your hands. So it's not just buying a comic at the grocery store and keeping it for 30 years. It has to be certain subjects, certain comics. Stamps. We've all heard stamps. The thing with stamps, though, is not all stamps appreciate. There's a few, and you have to really do a lot of research, a lot of digging, a lot of hunting. But stamps. Sometimes vintage bakeware. Now, right now is not a time because there is an overabundance of vintage Corningware and vintage Pyrex. But that's not to say years later that won't be valuable. Now, if it's a rare line in the Pyrex, it can be worth a lot. There was a Lucky in Love line from Pyrex, and a single bowl fetched $22,100. Now, compared to cars, jewelry, art, that's nothing. But think about it, it's a kitchen bowl for $22,000. That's pretty good. So if you have vintage Pyrex, you have vintage Corningware, and it's in excellent shape. Say it was great grandma's. Do your research. If it's a rare design or pattern that is in high demand, then yeah, it could be worth a lot. Vintage editions of vintage magazines that are very popular could be worth a few $100 or $1,000, depending on which ones. At the lower end, old magazines might sell for $5 to $20. On the higher end, maybe a few $100 to $1,000. And earlier we talked about antique furniture. What makes antique furniture valuable? It falls under art. Age, construction, materials, hardware, and finish. And authentic shaker furniture can easily sell for several $1,000s. You would need to get a professional appraisal, of course. The most valuable antique furniture, let's see, in recent years, I believe I read that the badminton chest the badminton chest. It was constructed in Florence, Italy. It was believed to have been owned by the third Duke of Beaufort, and it sold at a Christie's auction in 2004 for 36.7 million. So when the furniture is made, the materials, the year it was made, who it belonged to previously, all those things go in to make furniture, vintage furniture, valuable. Some other rare and in demand items are, handbags, vintage handbags, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, vintage handbags that are worth some money. First, you have the chainmail purses. Those were from the 20s and 30s, and those are worth some money. The Nantucket straw-like bucket purses. Antique purses with jewels on the frame. The velvet purses with jewels on the frame. The antique micro-beaded purses. The vintage lucite handbags. Then, of course, you have the vintage Gucci, the vintage Prada, the vintage Chanel, the vintage Louis Vuitton, the vintage Dior, Hermes, Versace, Ferragamo, Dior. Those all are vintage, have held their value. So another popular purse brand to collect is Judith Leiber. They are the ones that are shaped like cats or fruit or gummy bears, just whatever. They can be worth it and they can appreciate in value. But again, with like any handbag, vinyl record, baseball card, comic, art, furniture, whatever, it has to be stored and cared for properly. So purses are a good, but not to wear, because you don't want a chance on seeing them down, them getting scuffed up, dirty, anything vintage that you purchase to collect, for it to appreciate in value, you truly have to treat it like a collectible, not something you're going to use. Whether it's a Gucci, a Chanel, a Dior, a Hermes, a Louis Vuitton, none of it. Sorry, ladies. That's why if you're going to spend a lot of money and you truly want to be an investment, you can't use any of it. You have to put it up and look at it. And so, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video about vintage collectibles that are worth it, that possibly can appreciate in value. Nothing's guaranteed, but these are the ones that over history have proved the tried and true in appreciating in value. We'll see you on Friday. I am so sorry I was sick, but like I said, I don't cook when I'm sick. So we will have our club sandwich on Friday. Take care, guys. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.